Hello, everyone. I want to thank you for coming to listen to our webinar today about the current features we're working on. They're very close to get released, and also talking a little bit about what's coming next in Q4 and Q3. My camera is a little bit off today due to the connection, but I'll go over the slides. Just give me a second here. All right, so as I stated previously, we're here to talk about the new features and the future roadmap of @Scale. We're going to be focusing on more of the 2024 roadmap, what's left, so we're halfway through the year, a little bit over even. And the agenda for today is we're going to be focusing on the new feature called Dependency Hub, and when that's getting released as well. We're going to talk about performance upgrade, and we're going to talk about why we're focusing on these things and what the key benefits are, and then dive into Q3 and Q4. And then there's something in regard to portfolio capabilities, as you can see, number 4. So we're going to go over that of how you can participate if you're interested, because we're currently conducting interviews of finding the best needs for our customers. In the end, we can have a short Q&A session. So let's start with a picture of like, why are we doing @Scale? And scaling Agile tends to be really, really hard. You need to synchronize across your teams. You need to align with objectives. You need to manage your dependencies. And you need to think of tools and infrastructure and communication and collaboration. And the SAFe framework helps you with the practices, gives a good guideline for that. Azure DevOps helps you with tooling and collaboration. And then the third layer here is @Scale, which makes these practices a lot easier to do within Azure DevOps. And what do we have? What's new and what's coming? So we're going to be speaking about mainly 2 features we've been working on for a while. We've been working really hard on them. The new one that is actually getting released on Monday is called Dependency Hub. And the key features of this function is that we'll be introducing a request layer. So if you're facilitating planning for an Agile release train, or let's say you're working with 100, 200 people, it sends and manages these requests to team members and gives the possibility to accept or decline them, which makes it very transparent and clear. All of this is shown in like an overview that you can see. And the great thing about this is it always shows the reality of all dependencies. There's no filter that might remove things. It will always show the reality. And it will always show the statuses of them. So we have status tracking as well, where you can monitor dependencies through their life cycle and see what is the current state. Is it in progress, planned, delivered, late? All of this will be shown within the tool. And why did we focus on this particular feature? First of all, our users have reported it's challenging to manage cross-team dependencies effectively. And it also like improves the workflow of working with dependencies. Since we started working more and more remotely, especially like organizations now working all over the world and more remote, this gives the capabilities of being able to have that communication through the interface of @Scale. And of course, as with everything we do, like we are feedback driven, and we'll also talk about that today, how you can give feedback and vote on other users' suggestions. So some of the benefits you will gain by using the Dependency Hub is improved efficiency. It's by simply streamlining the process for managing and tracking dependencies. It gives a very clear overview of the statuses and reduces the time spent on follow-ups. It enhances the collaborations, makes it very clear, facilitates better communication, and clears the responsibilities to prevent misunderstandings. Another thing is increased accountability. It's very transparent which teams owns a dependency and the tasks needed for that. It gives you updates in real time. So if you're having sync meetings, during the execution, you can go in, check on the dependencies, and see what has happened. Another thing is risk mitigation. The earlier you can identify potential issues with your dependencies, the resolutions will come quicker, and it prevents delays. All in all, in general, the benefit is better project management for your departments, organizations. And with that said, let me jump into a demo. So let's start with where you will be able to find dependency. So it will be a new menu here called Dependencies. Make things bigger there. And once you click this one, you will come up to this new view. Here you have a couple steps of what's getting included. So like I said earlier, the request layer is going to get shown. You're going to have the dashboard. It goes through a little bit of that functionality, shows you a little bit what you can do with statuses. And then it's time for the actual configuration. So we have 3 ways of configuring what you want to have in a Dependency Hub. So you can use your own custom work item type by clicking here and then selecting an item you have. Or you can use a predefined type, which we recommend. And this will install a work item type called dependency request. So basically, that dependency request will be the layer between linking something to something that is needed. That is the request layer. If you do not want the request layer, this will, of course, mean that it's some limited functionality, but then you can click no configuration. But once you've done the selection, it will install the work item, and then you can start working with your dependencies. So now in this view, I have a PI board where we're planning different features. I've intentionally made it very, very small right now. So we have a couple of features in each team, and they're going to start use the Dependency Hub, and I want to show you what happens. So if we go in here, we'll see that there are no current dependencies. And if I want to create a dependency here, I click on New. So let's say I would need a VM resource from Azure. And I might not have the capability to do that in my team. So I know that Blue team is the one that can help us with this. So I'm going to request it from the Green team. And I'm going to request it to the Blue team. Then I can choose why do I need this VM resource from Azure. And I can say, okay, it's for our feature 2 here for the Green team. It's needed for this particular feature. I can then fill in a description. I can also say when I need it. So I can check here in the Blue team's iterations, when do I need it? So I can say, okay, I need it by sprint 1. I then create this dependency. And now we have a dashboard here. So we can see on the left-hand side here, we can see the requests. On the right-hand side, here are the accepted dependencies for status tracking and keeping on track what's happening. So now we see this dependency request. It's requested for this feature. Currently says on time, but I can choose to accept or decline this. If we go back to the board and we check here, it has introduced this work item type called dependency request, and it's linking to this particular feature. So if I head back to Dependency Hub, and let's say our team are going to accept this particular dependency, and when I accept it, the Blue team can check through their backlog to see if they have a matching work item to solve this, or they can actually create a new one. So let's say create VM resource for Green team. I can then select what type of work item should be. So it's user story, and let's say we commit to sprint 1. And then create this one, and then I accept it. Now you can see that the dependency has been swapped, and now it's showing that it's been accepted. So total 1 request, and 1 has been planned for. So there's no one that has been declined. If I go back to the board now, we will see that we have 2 shown. And when you accept dependency request, it automatically gets closed. So this one has been set to closed. And if you want to avoid a little bit of clutter in your board, because we didn't want to have a full introduction into the board yet. That is something we're going to continue on developing. But one thing you can do is, let's say I don't want to see everything that has been accepted, because it always has a real item that solves this dependency request. I can then go in on exclusions. I can add a rule for the dependency request that if the state equals to accepted, it will get removed. So now it will always only show pending dependency requests, and it will show declined dependency requests. So this is the workflow. So if you're using dependencies, you can see them here. Let's add a couple more. We can see it has been accepted. We can see the status of it currently. So it's currently just new, so it haven't been active. And let's say I want to add a couple other dependencies. Let's say I want to add one from the red team to the green team, and they need something here, and I call this dependency request just for the purpose of this demo. This one might be in sprint 2. And now it immediately flags that it's late, because the need is by, of course, if we look here on the board, the need is here. So we can see they are planning to deliver this feature in sprint 1, but it's currently planned in sprint 2 for this dependency request. So I can change that here, and then refresh here. Let's add another dependency. So new dependency. And let's say maybe from the green to blue again. And then I just create something in sprint 2. So now we have a total of 3 requests. 2 are waiting, as we can see. So the statuses are waiting. If you want to filter down here, so let's say I want to see everything my team is responsible for, I can then go in and let's say everything depends on the blue team. I want to see that. So then I can filter and see, okay, these are the things we need to solve. Or if I want to check everything I have requested from the blue team, which I haven't now, but let's say I want to see everything we have requested from the red team, I can immediately see it's pending and we don't have a response yet. So let's say I decline this one. Ask maybe yellow team. And then maybe this one gets accepted and they didn't have a user story, so I'll create one. And now we can see that we have a total of 2 accepted dependencies. One has been declined, and we can read the reason why it has been declined. I can filter here on responses. I can filter on types. You have a lot of filters here, even on iterations that you can go into and see everything in sprint 1, 2, or need by. And we really hope that this will give you a lot of enablements and making your planning go a lot easier. I know it's a struggle facilitating Azure release train planning, solution train planning. So any help you can get hopefully gives you a lot of value. And as you can see here, we have preview, and it says this is a preview, and you're part of the development, bringing new ideas and feedback. So one of the things you can do is you can click here on Learn More. This will go into the documentation where you can read how to do different types, what's happening here, and what the different configuration does. So we have a guide here that you can reach directly by just clicking on that button. I also go through a couple examples and things you can do. If you want to give feedback regarding like new features, this is the button you should be using, give feedback, or you can give feedback here in the bottom right. We'll go over that as well during the later part of this webinar today. But I hope you're really excited for this new dependency release, and hopefully it's going to streamline your dependencies so your deliveries goes much better. Let me go back to the document. And like I said earlier, we are planning on releasing this on Monday, July 1st. If you noticed, we had it out for like an hour today, but that was not the intention. It's going out on Monday. And when it comes to other features, so we have heard you as our users, and we have focused on faster performance, making sure to optimize how we fetch things, how we serve the data, and how we visualize it. We've actually been working on this for a while as well. And what are the key features here? We're optimizing how you fetch the data. We're introducing like skeleton loaders for better feedback during loading. So as soon as something is fetched, it will get visualized. So there's not like a chunk that needs to be completed before it actually you see the data. So it shows as it's getting served, basically. And we have enhanced the responsiveness of the user interface. One thing our users said is like the menu sometimes got blocked because it needed to load. So that is getting served much quicker. And this is particularly like, why did we focus on this? And some of our clients or users have very complex boards. Examples could be that we had some users loading more than 20,000 work items. And we needed to increase that threshold, which we did, but that allowed for more performance impacts. And we have addressed these identified performance bottlenecks. And we really hope that this will bring a lot of value. And as stated earlier, this is, of course, coming directly from our users with your feedback. So please continue to give us feedback so we can deliver exactly what you want and fit your needs. So some of the user benefits will be enhanced user experience, of course. It will increase the efficiency of loading and enhance better scalability. So it will be able to handle a little bit more data. And just to show you the examples of how something like this would look, there we go. So I wanted to show you, let's go to an example where I have a lot more data. So let's jump to web order here. So as you can see, when I refresh something, you can see everything is getting served at the same time. And we have this initial load blocker. And the changes here made, which can be accessed by writing new board, but keep in mind, this is still getting developed. The changes here should be quite instant. So as you can see, you're getting the data as quickly as possible. And with our testing, it's up to 70% quicker, depending on the environments, of course. But if we compare the two, it's a much quicker experience of getting the data that you need. Sometimes you don't even might want to be in boards, you want to go to risks. But now you're not going to have to wait as much as before. So this is something we're working on. Some other things here is basically we're introducing some other features as well in regards with the new boards or performance enhancement. You can view it kind of like changing the engine for a car. So on the hood, it's pretty similar, but under the hood, it's like more horsepower. So another example here is we have introduced is hide internal team dependencies. So if you work with that scale before, as we can see here, this is for the blue team, they have set a predecessor successor within their own swim lane. But now you can easily just remove these and focus on their dependencies across teams. So there are some other things that is coming. We have made this mapping pane a little bit better as well. But please stay tuned for this one. As soon as we have released the Dependency Hub, we're going back to focus on this performance enhancement. And we will hopefully deliver the value to you as soon as possible. So when we look at the roadmap, things we're focusing on, and keep in mind that everything is subject to change. We're always reevaluating, are we building the things that our users need the most? But for Q3, it's quite clear what we need to do. So we're going to be addressing the Dependency Hub feedback we're getting from you. So please give us your feedback. We're going to be focusing on performance improvements that I just showed you. And then analytics optimization and improvements. If you've used our flow analytics, sometimes as well, we're going to introduce like better scalability of that. But another thing is, if I go into the flow metrics, let me jump into like flow metrics view, and I go to analytics. One of the things here, when the data is getting fetched, I want to see as a user what is behind this particular thing, or what is behind this. So we would like to introduce a way of getting more insight or getting into the data, being able to click and getting like a query result of what you're looking into. So that is something we would like to introduce as well. And we're also building a DORA metrics MVP, kind of a tryout within the team to see if we can serve our users with DORA metrics, which is more development-centric metrics, which are really, really good. And then for Q4, we really want to enable portfolio management in a better way in at scale. And what are the potential things we can do? So objective key results, introduce a tool for that on different levels. Another thing you have requested a lot is resource and capacity management, portfolio budgeting, and being able to have these dashboards on the portfolio level. So during Q4, a lot of the focus will be on portfolio capabilities. And how can you send, we went through this a little bit earlier, but how can you send feedback for new ideas and suggestions? A couple months ago, we introduced this tool that you can click. So in the bottom right corner of every view in that scale, you can click feedback, and this will open up like a feedback board where you can collaborate with other users. So I'm going to show you how that looks as well. If you click here and I just click feedback, I can then go in. I can see what's trending. I can see what has gotten the most votes from my users. So as you can see, resource and capacity management has gotten a lot of votes. And we have gotten some suggestions as well. If you ever have an idea or something you would need in your role that we'd love to have in at scale, feel free to share it here, or other improvement things. So we've gotten here reorder art in the planning pane and other things. So you can write your own suggestions and vote. And if you really like something someone else has written, you can just vote it up. And this really helps us with building the right things for you. So this is one of the things you can do. Go back to other things. And another thing is feedback. Like we want you to use this board or this feature for feedback, new ideas or suggestions of improvements. And if you have any issues, this is the email you should be contacting us at support.scale@solidify.dev. And this is covered by our entire team, and you will get help much quicker if you contact us through this way. And when we talk about the portfolio capabilities, I am currently conducting interviews and fetching customer needs for organizations. You are more than welcome to contact me at jimmykåsby@solidify.dev if you would like to be included in these calls. I have already reached out to a couple of our clients, but if you feel you have a need and could contribute with things your organization need, please reach out to me, or feel free to use the feedback tool integrated into product. Now we have a little time for questions. So yeah, I want to thank you for listening, and hopefully you're as excited as we are for the new features. And yes, so I'm going through the questions right now, and this will be posted on YouTube. And thank you for the feedback regarding the dependency management screen. And glad that you are getting very happy about the dependency of all of you. But please reach out once again if you would like to participate in the portfolio capabilities. And let's have a future talk about that. All right. Thank you to everyone for listening today. I appreciate the time you took, and see you in the next webinar. Thank you.